That's why it got the nickname Rapid Rabbit. It was a fast booger.
Did you have a call sign for yourself?
No.
Just the pilots did, or not the RSOs?
Basically, yeah. That's what I remember anyway.
Now, who did most of the talking with the ground? Was that you or the pilot?
That was both of us. We kind of took turns.
Did you ever have any funny stories that you could tell about flying that you can recall?
Well, I really cannot think of anything right offhand. Maybe later on.
Okay.
Some will come to me.
You're in a unique club as a crew member of an SR-71 because, from my understanding, there was only 86 pilots and 86 RSOs.
Basically, yeah.
That flew actual missions.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very small number compared to all the other types of aircraft that fly around.
That's true, yeah.
Have you gone to any reunions?
We've only gone to one. That was back in, what year was that? You remember, Jen?
2002.
2002.
I believe.
They have the reunions every 2 years.
And actually this year is one of them.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been 2002 because it's odd years.
Yeah, right.
So it might have been 2001.
Could have been.
How old are you now, Jim?
I am 85.
85 years old.
Yep.
It's cool that you can still recall some of these things that made you so happy in your life to be able to do things like this that
that's for sure.
Not too many other people got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things was he was in the first 10 ever chosen out of all of them to be in the research. One of his very best friends was the test pilot, Bob Gilliland, and we still keep in touch with him. We had lunch with him about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago in Palm Desert, California.
Wow.
Bob Gilliland was a big handball buddy of mine. We would play whenever we had the chance. We would meet at some club and play handball. We'd have a great time.
Handball is a good way to get your exercise in for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah. There was two different types of SR-71s. Actually, one wasn't called an SR-71. It was called an A-12. That was before the two-seater came around, right? There was the CIA version.
Yeah.
And that was a one-seater. Can you tell me what the basic differences are between the two aircraft?
Well, the airplane that I flew in for my entire Air Force career was the SR-71, which was the, boy, so hard to remember.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
For sure. Very long time ago.
What was the difference between the Y-12 and the SR?
The A-11 or A-12?
A-12, yeah. You probably didn't even come in contact with them too much.
No,
maybe at Palmdale.
I didn't.
And I understand the A-12s were flown by civilian pilots versus military pilots because they didn't want to cause the international controversy.
CIA, yeah. Yep.
So Ken Collins was a...
Ken Collins was a civilian for a few months or a few years. Ken is a real good friend of mine. He just called us about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
His first wife has passed. Now he's remarried and living in, I think he was in Woodland Hills, California, and he just moved to Arizona.
Prescott.
Prescott.
That's a nice area. It's a little cooler than where I'm from in Arizona.
Yeah.
It's up a little north. They get some snow up there too.
Yeah, right.
Not like the snow you get in Helena.
That's for sure. By golly. Helena is a cold booger, but not as bad as Great Falls. Great Falls is really cold.
Did you have a speed indicator in the back seat? So you could see how fast you were going as well? Or was that just up front?
I don't recall one in the back seat. I'm thinking it was just up front. But Ben would always tell me we're going, and like we're above Mach 3 or 3.2 or...
But looking out the window, you had no sense of speed, right?
No, you're up too high, and it's really hard to judge your speed.
You have nothing to judge it against.
You can judge your distance from the amount you traveled on the radar, you know. But it's really hard to judge the actual speed.
I understand it was close to 36 miles per minute that you flew.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Honey, tell him about when you went out over the ocean and fueled up and came back in by San Diego, and where you went from there. That speed run you did.
We went on a mission at Edwards. I don't remember if that was Ben. I don't think it was, but it could have been. We spent, there was 2 navigators and about 6 or 8 pilots. Some of them were systems command, and others were SAC pilots. Like Ben was a SAC pilot, and I was a SAC navigator. Cease Braden was a SAC navigator. And some of the other pilots were systems command people. Now what was the point I was
You went out over the ocean, fueled up.
We flew several missions for, at that time it was what the heck was his name? He was a horse's butt, is what he was.
Donald Trump?
No.
Oh.
He was that type person, though. He was the head of the Air Force, head of the Department of Defense. I cannot think of his name.
Well, basically you had to show him a speed run.
He was a civilian, obviously.
Yeah, he was a civilian. Yeah.
McNamara?
Who?
McNamara?
I think that was his name. Seems like.
Okay, so you were doing trying to set a record at that time.
A speed record, yeah.
From where to where?
We took off out of Edwards. We fueled out over the ocean, San Diego. Yeah, we came back. We ended the fueling just before we passed in, just before we made the landing over the ground. But we're way up in the air, of course. We started our speed run over San Diego. We flew on a straight line to Savannah Beach, Georgia. I don't remember what the heck the time was.
Had to have been close to an hour.
58
It was in
minutes.
the 50s, yeah, minutes.
So you didn't land, you just turned around and came back?
Don't remember if we landed or came back. We must have come back because we always came back. Once in a while we would land, like we would land at Little Rock Air Force Base. We landed there in the SR.
Did you ever do any air shows?
No,
Never, huh?
no.
Now there was only certain places you could land that bird too, right? Because of the classification of it?
I guess that's true, yeah. I really don't remember, but I suspect it is true. Mm-hmm.
I heard a story that there was a blackbird flying over New York, and he was listening to the tower in Miami, and the other planes were asking them what their airspeed was of their aircraft, and 2 or 3 different types of planes. One was a Piper Club, then it went up to Air Force fighter jet, and then the SR-71 was one of the later ones that asked him what his speed was, and the controller at the tower said he couldn't register it. It was so fast.
Huh. He was drifting right along. By golly.
Did you ever fly into New York at all?
No. Nope. Not in the Air Force airplane.
Commercial airliners, yes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you had a chance to fly in the back seat again, would you jump for it?
Sure.
In a heartbeat, huh?
Definitely. Yep. That was a great experience, great life.
At one time, Jim told me that because all of the research was done when he was in, any pictures that you see of the SR, he could have been in it, because the pictures were all taken during that first 10 years.
Yeah.
And if you ever have a chance to go on the internet, there's a lot of photos, a lot.
Is that right?
Different ones. There's one of the rapid rabbit after it crashed on the internet. I don't know if you've seen that photo or not.
I don't think I have, no.
Well, after this
I don't
interview,
remember seeing it.
I'll show it to you. Bring back memories. I don't know if it'll be bad or good. Good that you got out of there alive.
Yeah, you bet.
You know?
Well, one of the things that he has always told stories about is the reason he did not eject was that in a previous situation,